What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another airport update of the fictional Pittsburgh International Airport. And in the last airport update, some of you may have submitted custom routes to be featured in this airport update, and of course they are. There are about 20 or so routes, I'm not exactly sure, that are featured in this airport update, and there were 29 responses exactly. So some of those responses that aren't included in this airport update are mainly because the 787-9 American Airlines was taken a lot, and just a lot of people submitted those and it was just already taken. So that could have been a reason whether a model was already taken, or some of the routes just didn't make any sense, like they could have been to a super far away international airport with a mid-size aircraft, something like that. I don't even remember. But anyways, those of you watching that want to be featured in future airport updates and create a custom route, link in the description. There's a form you can fill out, and you select any of the models from the airport that you would like to select or like to be part of the route, and then you either, if you have an airport, you can send it to that airport, or it can just be any airport in the world basically, and then you're featured in the airport update. It's that easy. So anyways, guys, let's get started with this airport update. This is for November 2020. Excited to be back with another airport update. So anyways, let's just get started. Well, actually, we can't start because, well, there's a terminal missing and there's planes over here. So, looks like I'm gonna have to clean all this up. Or not clean it up, but organize it. So, that's more work I have to do. All right, well, I'll see you guys in the next shot when this is all fixed.
One eternity later.
Okay, that's probably good, right? Okay, it's the next day. As you can see, I have a different shirt on and the hat is gone, but I'd say we can start the airport update now, so let's get started.
Smile more when you come back. Smile more when I see you. Smile more when the sun shines bright.
So first up here is the JetBlue. The JetBlue ERJ-190 is on short final for runway 21 right from Boston Logan International Airport. And right underneath that is a Frontier A321 holding short for the JetBlue and is heading to Jackson Hole, Wyoming as requested by Jared Aviation. Then here's an American A319 taxiing to the runway for New Orleans, and this is requested by the Aviator. Then I know that the Airbus A380 is in a lot of trouble right now, just wide bodies in general, but I figured I would throw this in because it was a requested route, and I know that Emirates is starting up international flights, although it's mostly on the 777. I don't have a 777 for Emirates. I could possibly get it because this A380 probably is going to become less realistic over time, but hey, maybe I'll keep it anyways, so we'll see. Anyways, this is an Emirates A380 and is taking off for Dubai via Bahrain, and this is a requested route, of course. Right there is an American ERJ-170 taxiing to the runway for Rochester, New York. Then next up right here is an American CRJ-200, also taxiing out to the runway, and this is heading out to Harrisburg. Right here is a United 737-900ER Eco Skies. It's heading out to Washington Dulles, or Alex H's airport. And behind that is a Delta A319, is on its way to the runway for Salt Lake City. An American A321 just arrived from Aviation JFK's airport and is taxiing to the gate. Right here is an Alaska 737-900ER and is about to pull into its gate, which is right here from Seattle Tacoma, or Aviation 5's airport. Now to Terminal A. Here is a United ERJ-175 and is boarding all passengers for Houston. Then next up here is a United 757-300, is just pushing back, as you can see if I move the jet bridge right there, for Levent International Airport, or AA_Aviation's airport. Then finally, the Air Canada CRJ-900 is back. I obviously took this out because of international routes, but they're actually resuming in January, but I figured I'd just put it back in the airport now. So flights to Montreal and Toronto resume January 10th of 2021, but I mean, might as well add it in, right? So anyways, this CRJ-900 is boarding all passengers for Montreal, Canada. Next up is a JetBlue A320 unloading bags from JFK Liberty International Airport, which is Aviation 24's airport. Then right here is a Delta ERJ 170 getting bags loaded for Atlanta, which is Aviation 777's airport. So here's the other Delta, a Delta MD-88, and although this is pretty much retired, some of you guys in the last airport update commented that I should keep retired models in my airport updates to make it more interesting. So the Delta MD-88 and also the American Airlines 767-300ER, so I'll still be including those. But anyways, this is just arriving at the terminal from Detroit. So next up here is the American Airlines terminal. First up is an American A319 getting all passengers boarded for Orlando. And next to that over there is an American 757-200 getting catered for the flight to San Francisco. Then at the end of this side of the terminal is a A320 being refueled for the return flight to Miami. As you can see, the fuel truck is over there. Then here's an American A321 with sharklets is deboarding all passengers from Vancouver, and this is requested by Aviation Productions 26. Here's an American A330-300 just arrived from Amsterdam and is taxiing to the gate. And I know that this is an international flight, but because this is American Airlines and this airport technically is an American Airlines hub, although the real Pittsburgh International isn't, American Airlines is resuming some international flights to their hubs like Philadelphia, so I figured I would throw this one in there. Then behind that is the 737-800 in the One World livery, loading all bags for the flight to Washington Dulles or Najee Macrome's airport. I do not think I pronounced his name right, so I'm sorry about that. So finally, after the longest time since pretty much 2019, because I did not make a lot of airport updates at the beginning of this year other than March, which obviously was when COVID hit. The international terminal has not been used in an airport update of mine in a very long time. But right now I've decided to put a decent amount of them back. As you can see, we have Air France, which if anything that I would put back in the terminal would just be American Airlines, but I figured I'd throw the Air France in there because I just looked up on Flight Radar 24 and I believe they're resuming a decent amount of their routes. And a lot of these international airlines that are resuming routes to the US are on A350s, and I figured that was appropriate considering this is an A350. So anyways, right here is terminal, I think this is C or D. I haven't made an update in so long, but this is terminal C, I believe, of the international terminal. So here is an Air France A350-900 getting catered and fueled for the return flight to Paris. Then over here at the One World Alliance terminal, which would be terminal D or C, I might be mixing this up, but the other end of the international terminal basically. But this is a American Airlines 777-200ER is boarding all passengers for, and I probably will pronounce this wrong, but Yeho Valencia International Airport, which is Yeho Does Anything 777's airport. Then behind that is a Qatar A350-900 pushing back for Doha. I'm honestly going to have to get more A350s because a lot of these international airlines are using that. Potentially a Lufthansa A350, that could be a good model to get. Next up is an American 767-300ER catering for the flight to Frankfurt. And in the back there is an American 787-9 boarding for Neo International Airport, which is owned by Aviation_Neo on Instagram, and his fictional airport replaces London Heathrow. So that's where this is heading. Next up is a Virgin Atlantic Airbus A340 just pushed back and will depart for London Heathrow. So now to Terminal E, which is just the normal Gemini Jets terminal, and this has Southwest, of course, and Frontier, but the Frontier is currently taxiing at the runway. First off here, we're going to start with the Southwest 737-700 in the New Mexico one is pulling into the gate from Oakland. And next to that, of course, another 737-700, and this one is getting fueled for Baltimore Thurgood International Airport, which is one of Aviation 18's great airports. So here's an American 777-300ER, which is parked and loading cargo to be flown to London Heathrow with COVID supplies. And then in front of that is an Airbus A321, sorry, the camera just randomly shaked. An A321 in the US Airways livery is also parked at the cargo terminal, and it will eventually be fitted to store goods to be flown across the United States. Then lastly here is an American A330-300 is currently being parked at maintenance.
just for no reason at all.
So anyways, that concludes this month's airport update of November 2020. This is the airport behind me, of course. There's the script for the laptop. And if you want to be included in next month's update, make sure to check out the link in the description and fill out the form, and then you'll be featured in the next month's update. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next upload.